Welcome back, everybody. It's episode 8 of the What's He On About podcast. It's a pleasure to have you with us. And today we have in store England versus New Zealand series wrap up. We're going to have a deep dive into what that means for the future of English cricket and how that series went as a whole. We've also got a little apology from me for a few rather optimistic TikToks this week. We're going to have a look through Australia and India and how that really just isn't the biggest series in the world. And then we're going to cap it all off with the most expensive over in professional cricket history. It's expensive. So grab yourself a drink, wait till the end to find out that, and grab a snack and welcome yourself and ask yourself, what is he on about? First of all, I want to apologise. I want to apologise. Let me take you through the TikToks I posted this week. Um, Go and check them out if you haven't already. First of all, I said after day one, this aged rather well, that New Zealand weren't capitalising. I said they were getting to 60s, to getting to 40s, and they weren't going big. And that was why England were going to win 3-0. Turned out in the second innings, Kane Williamson hit a magnificent 150 odd, and he rather put me in my place. So cheers, Kane. And moving on to the next TikTok. I said England would whitewash New Zealand after day one. I said it would be 3-0. Turns out England lost that match by 420 odd runs, and it's another pretty optimistic. And so TikTok, I've got to apologise for. So I'm sorry, guys. I am sorry. And finally, I said going into the final day of the Test match that England would chase down 600 plus. I was optimistic. I thought if any team could do it, England could do it. After the first session, I was thinking, hello, my prediction could be unbelievable here. Turns out England lost many wickets and went on to lose the game by, as I said, 400 odd runs. So yeah, I just want to put that apology out there, saying that those TikToks maybe didn't go the right way and didn't age very well. Anyway, Bazball, Bazball, Bazball. I find this really tricky to talk about because on one hand, we went 2-0 up away from home in the first two games of the series. And on the other hand, we got absolutely steamrolled in the last test. And it really makes you think, where are this England side at? And is it good? Is Basball good? Is Basball bad? Or is it just inconsistent? If you look on paper, this England team looks unreal. If you look at the batsmen, the two top test batters in the world both belong to England. There's no problem in that department. We've got beautiful up and coming bowlers. Atkinson and Carter showing great talent. Chris Woakes has been here for ages. He's shown he can get wickets anywhere. And bowling's not massively the issue either. We've got a good wiki. I mean, Pope's done nothing wrong. Jamie Smith waiting in the ranks is a very solid keeper. Keeping's not the problem, and our captaincy. I mean, Ben Stokes is arguably the best Test captain in the world. So what's the issue? And the problem is this ethos, this no draw mentality. I'm not saying we should change it because we've won two tests on the bounce away from home, first two tests of the series. When was that last done? However, it worries me. I'm not saying it bad, it just worries me. Because for England to lose by 420 runs, it's really not sustainable, and it shows how England are inconsistent. You know, we go abroad, we win the first couple of tests or first test, like in Pakistan, and then we just get steamrolled. We get found out, and it's not a good sign because when you go to Australia, when India come to England, we're going to get found out earlier in the series, and England are going to struggle. And if you actually take a look back, I mean, again, it's hard to say considering I heaped so much praise on the England team. But that first test, New Zealand drop 8 catches and Harry Brook gets to 170. If it's not for Harry Brook getting those runs, England get rolled in that test match. And I fear that England would have got rolled in the series. And it does make you think again, without Harry Brooks saving us on those couple of occasions in the first two tests, where would we have been? And that again really worries me because we can't trust Harry Brooks going to take us through in Australia. It's not sustainable and it's inconsistent. And I worry that Bazball just, it's getting us great results, but it's not making us great. It's making us really good. It's not making us great. And we've got some great players in there. Talking of great players, Ben Stokes. Look, I understand. I understand his mentality, his do or die mentality, fight for the team, give everything he's got. But at what point is that becoming seriously invaluable for the team? He's clearly an incredibly valuable player, valuable captain. But if you're just going to rinse yourself and do everything it takes to maybe get that one extra wicket which could turn the game, is that more important than being a captain who's always there out on the pitch, a player who's an incredible batsman who can turn a game with his bat, and also he's a strike bowler. He can bowl short spells and take big wickets. And Ben Stokes, we get that you want to change the game, but I think as captain, there's got to be that element of decision making, knowing that actually my body's wearing a bit, and is it better for the team for me to not bowl here and keep myself fit? He's a great batsman, and I really do think he's more important than those hard overs he tries to bowl to go, you know, 10 odd over spells. I mean, it's just ridiculous, Stokesy. We need you. But he, as ever, hopefully he'll be back for the summer and he'll be back in fine fettle, I'm sure. Now, the spinner for England. Let's take a look at Bashir. There's two sides of the coin here. Side number one, he's got 49 wickets this year. Incredible numbers from Bashir. He's shown that Stokes has confidence in him. Stokes backs him to the end, and if Stokes backs him, surely we back him as well. And I think I've seen him bowl great spells. However, there's another side of the coin. And when we're talking about building a great team, we need a great spinner to really play in every single game and have an impact. He didn't have an impact in the first innings. In that final test against New Zealand, he got no wickets, no overs bowled, to be fair to him. But Mitchell Santner, on the other hand, came in and bowled not many overs. To be fair, England didn't bat out many overs. But Mitchell Santner got he got 3 for 7 or something. And when you see your spinner not getting bowled, and then the opposition spinner, who is arguably very experienced, great spin bowler, take 3 wickets and not many deliveries, it makes you think if we had a little bit of a better spinner, would we have put confidence in him to go and hold up an end when New Zealand were batting well in that first innings? And maybe he could have got us a few wickets. But Bashir is a really interesting pick. And as I said, the other side of the coin here is that, yes, he's got 49 wickets, but this year he's bowled a heck of a lot of overs. He's bowled over 520 overs this year. And with his 49 wickets has come almost 2,000 runs against him in 2024. This is the other side of the coin, ladies and gentlemen. And let me tell you, he's averaging over 40 with the ball. Now, this for me was going unnoticed. I thought Stokes backs him, I'll back him. But he's really growing on me that he's just not the spinner to take us forward. I know he's young. I know he's early in his career. It'll be interesting to know where he stands in that first year of Test cricket compared to other bowlers who've bowled for England in the spin department. But that average of over 40 worries me. And if we're going to go to Australia, we need that spinner to be top class because one thing's for certain is you take Bashir to Australia and he gets absolutely pumped everywhere. So I'm thinking maybe in the summer it's time to give Leachy another try because I'd rather have an experienced spinner who's more likely to turn the ball in Australia than I would have Bashir, a young player, inexperienced, and I'm starting to think he's not the man for Australia. A quick interesting fact about Bashir and showing how important Ben Stokes is to our team and fit and on the pitch is this. Under Stokes, Bashir averages 36 with the ball. All right. But under Pope, different leadership, he got bold in different ways with different fields, a little bit less, a little bit less confidence in him. He went for almost 65 of an average. I think that's astonishing. And it's not like he's only played one game under Pope. He's bowled 4 games under Pope and bowled a heck of a lot of overs in Pakistan. And it shows that he wasn't captained well enough. And under Stokes shows that, perhaps there's many other spinners in the English game that can bowl well under Stokes as captain. So I think Bashir's good figures is been greatly due to how well Stokes has captained him. Jacob Bethel. I think what I've been most impressed about Bethel is not only his second inning runs, which have been incredibly helpful for the team, but his aura. He looks like he could be the number one batter in the world. It's the way he holds himself, the way he plays his shots, the way he holds his poses. He's just got the makings of a brilliant test batsman. And one thing I want to make sure with Bethel is we don't give him too much too early. Hamid showed these signs many, many moons ago. Hasib Hamid, young lad brought in just like Bethel, got some 50, got some runs, but was used too much, was rinsed and lost it. Now, this is what I want them to happen. This is what I want them to do. I want Bethel to be sidelined for the summer. I want Jamie Smith to come back in, and I want Bethel to sit in the wings waiting. Because not only does that put great pressure on the English players, but it means that when one lad maybe has a bad start to the series in India, because we've got Crawley under a bit of pressure, you could argue Pope's under a bit of pressure. Have Bethel waiting in the wings means that halfway through the series he comes in, shows he can do it against India, and all of a sudden he's in your starting lineup for the Ashes. And Bethel not being given too much too early, give him a little bit more 12th man stuff and bring him back. That's going to be brilliant for Bethel, and that's going to be really important for the team moving forward. So, Bazball as a whole, personally, massive fan. Massive fan. I'm so happy that we can go and win these big games. All right. But are the big losses too worrying? It's those no draw mentality which leads us into losing big. And what I worry is in Australia, we'll get found out fast and we'll lose big early on and lose the series. So it's how we turn this good Bazball team into a great one, start doing whitewashes and just win more consistently, especially away from home. But you can't deny it's a better England than under Root, so we can't complain. Big fan of Bazball. So, moving on, a quick glaze over India Australia is that the third test dithers away into a pile of nothingness. But it's turning out to be a good series. But what one thing I want to truly explain is some people, especially Australians, say that India Australia is the biggest series in the world. Come on, mate. You know, the seats are empty. You've painted the seats in the Gabba to make it look like people have come to watch. But the fact is no one's there. And India say they're a big test cricket nation. Australia says this is the difference, mate, between English cricket and Australian cricket. We care. We care. You don't, mate. You know? England Oz is the biggest series. England fill out the grounds. Australia seriously struggle. I know that they're big grounds, but nonetheless, they've only got about 10 people watching. And stop painting the seats, mate. Give us a break. But yeah, India, Australia, third test dithering away. And it's not that big a series, lads. Come to England, we'll fill out the stadiums. Finally, it's our question of the week. Here we go. The what's the on about question of the week. And here it is for you. Here it is. What is the most expensive over in professional cricket history? How many runs were scored? Now you might think 36, maybe 37, maybe there was a no ball six in there, but have a think. What was the most expensive over? I'll give you a clue. This was also the longest over ever bowled. And poor lad. I can tell you, everyone, it belongs to Bert Vance. He played a few tests for New Zealand. You might recognise the name if you're part of that era. But let me tell you, this over was astonishing. 22 balls was bowled for the six ball over. There's a starter, 22 balls. And have a guess how many runs it went for? 77 runs. Pretty sure one bloke almost got from 10 to 100 in this over. But let me take you through the details. I mean, Bert Vance, he was a part-timer. Apparently, he was brought on to bowl. The opposition needed about 100 to win with two wickets left. And Bert Vance seriously helped them out with the 77 runs. And only one ball of his first 17 were legal. He kept overstepping the mark. He kept bowling head height full tosses. And poor old Bert just couldn't land a ball. And perhaps my favourite stat of the lot was he was it for five consecutive sixes off five consecutive illegal deliveries. So he overstepped the mark five consecutive occasions and fed up the juiciest of full tosses to the batsman who plonked him over his head for five sixes. Yeah, just to hammer it home, 77 off the over. Quite incredible from Bert Vance, and I don't think that will ever be topped. Just to give you a little shout there, 17 balls was the second most balls in an over. 22 balls for Bert Vance and 77 runs. So on that note, I hope the question got answered there today. I hope you enjoyed the episode. As Bert Vance, hopefully he's feeling all right about himself. But maybe the question got answered, everyone, today. As I asked, what was he on about? Cheers.